afternoon once again, everyone. My name is Vartu Yangiasyan. I'm a business counseling manager at PACE Business Development Center. So a little bit about PACE. We are a nonprofit community development organization. So we are 50 years in the service. PACE has many different programs, including early childhood education, workforce development, energy efficiency, business development, and many more. Through our Business Development Center, we support entrepreneurs mainly in Southern California by offering business counseling, procurement services, and access to capital. Like City of Los Angeles has 10 business source centers like in the city. So PACE operates 2 of those business source centers. One is Pico-Union Westlake Center, and the other one is Hollywood Center that I am managing it. So PACE is also PACE Finance. We are also an SBA microlender, EDA, and iBank lender, and we are a certified CDFI. So again, today we have the workshop. This is the 3rd session of a 3 series workshop with Kang. So like these sessions are made to give you helpful tools to avoid burnout, build your leadership skills, and lead in a real and genuine way. I would like to thank, again, Kang. He was so generous with his time and, to contribute to the community. So we were able to bring, these sessions to you. He is the founder and owner of the People on War. So he will do these sessions for us. Generally speaking, if you have been in these sessions, you know how it works. One can go through the session and he make frequent pauses to see if there is any question or any feedback. If there is any question, we will answer the questions at that time, but you can always use Q&A box to post your questions. We will have a time dedicated to questions at the end also, and we will address anything that we couldn't, or you didn't post, during the session. So with that said, I want to hand it over to Kang to introduce himself and then get it started. Thank you again. Thank you, Kang. Thank you, everyone, for participating in this session.
Thank you, Vartu. I appreciate the introduction and welcome, everyone. I'm going to share my screen here. Vartu, can you confirm you see my screen?
Yes, I can see that.
Okay, perfect. So again, everyone, thank you so much. I know that time is of essence for each of you and for you to carve a part of the day to join me to talk about purpose, power, and presence and how to lead from within, a journey of self-discovery. This webinar session is really meant to ignite your purpose and find the leader in you so that you can lead effectively. And I'm so glad to be here. And today we're really diving into something deeply transformative on how to lead, live, and show up with purpose, power, and presence. This isn't just really about leadership. It's really about leading a life with clarity, a life of authenticity, and having some clarification in the process. Again, my name is Kang Chan. I'm the founder and CEO of People Onward. Our mission is to unlock the full potential of people and businesses everywhere to achieve extraordinary performance and align success with purpose, meaning, and fulfillment. So a little bit of my background, as some of you who may not have attended my previous webinars, I come from the management consulting leadership space. I've got 15 years of experience combined in this space. I primarily coach and advise Fortune 500 business executives on how to scale the business, starting with their people, attracting, developing, retaining top talent, and then also creating practical strategies and best practices to help leaders scale their operations by leveraging my creative insights, leadership abilities, and knowledge to inspire and implement their practices so that they can drive behavior change and transform their organization and their people in positive ways. For today's agenda, we're going to break down and cover the definition of 3 Ps, purpose, power, and presence. And then we'll also explore what that framework will look like. And then also I'll guide you through an exercise to apply this into your own leadership journey. And then we'll also cover the transformative leadership that could be in what that looks like for you. And then finally, we'll end with some question and answers. And my hope at the end of this webinar is to help you find some clarity and apply what you've learned into this into your daily in professional lives, and perhaps map out some sort of leadership journey for you. So that's the agenda. Feel free to provide or comment throughout this session, as well as ask questions, which we will be keeping an eye on the chat box. Feel free to also unmute yourself and maybe chime in as well. So, definition of purpose. What is purpose? Purpose is the driving force behind our actions. It provides direction, motivates us through challenges, and empowers us to create meaningful impact in our lives and the lives of others. Some of the questions that you might ask yourself as relates to purpose, if you're unsure what your purpose is, one question could be, what inspires you and motivates you every day? What kinds of activities make you lose track of time, such as you're performing activities, what gets you in flow state? And then what gives you deep meaning and purpose and fulfillment? Purpose is your inner compass. It's what we would say the why behind what you do. It's not just your job title or your goals, but the deep reason you get up every day. Purpose doesn't have to be anything grandiose. It just needs to be something that's aligned with your core values and is true to who you are. Such as, your North Star, right? You might have heard of what is your North Star? That's an indication of what is your purpose path. And it's what makes you feel alive at the end of the day. It's what makes you feel needed. You think about people that have retired, some of them don't have a purpose, and they often go through depression, anxiety, because they feel like they're not being needed by society in this world. Those that need to work beyond the retirement, they feel like there's a sense of contribution. They feel like their skills and
Funk.
people in the teams as well as throughout the
Uh,
organization.
I'm sorry, Fang, for maybe a couple of seconds, we lost your voice. I don't know, it was me or everyone lost the voice.
I think I don't know what happened. I think it might be my side for a little bit. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay. Because we lost me a little bit. Let me restart on the slide. So, understanding power is really about your ability to influence others and create change. It encompasses both your personal strength and your capacity to inspire growth and stability in you, your people, your teams, and as well as the organization. When it comes to power, it's really about understanding how your actions can influence others to create change, right? It's your ability to get others to do what you want them to do. That's what power is. It's really about influence. Power can be thought of as if I have power, then that I have authority over others. Not necessarily. It's not about authority or control. It's about influence, and that's the key. Power is something that comes from within. It doesn't come from outside external factors. It's your ability to trust yourself that you can influence others. That's what it means when I say power comes from within. And then also, Power fuels purpose, right? Without power, there's really no purpose. You can have a purpose statement in how you want to make an impact in the world, say, for example, but how are you going to make that impact, right? And so that's what power means. And the thing about power is that power is often misunderstood. It's not like a dominance or control. It's your capacity to act, create, and choose how you want to influence others in any given time and place. True power comes from, how you see yourself. Are you rooted in self-trust and confidence that you have the ability to influence others and that the energy necessary to create change? Without purpose stays as just an idea, right? Like just an idea that instead of becoming action, it's just out there. Make sense, everyone, so far? The other thing I would also want to say too about power is that we often give our power away, but that I mean we do it without realizing, through perfectionism, through people pleasing, fear of being judged, wanting to be liked. And the first step to reclaiming your power is really noticing where it leaks. You might want to ask yourself, what patterns or habits are draining my energy right now? And, just really take a step back and just breathe and reflect. Am I doing this because I want to be liked? Am I saying this because I want people to feel like they can get along, because I don't want to create conflict? And sometimes conflict is actually healthy, especially if you're leading your team, because you kind of want people of different perspectives coming in, contributing to an idea, which can create innovation, right? That's how innovation is formed, is through multiple perspectives. So a little bit of tension can be healthy as well. So embracing presence. So presence is the ability to engage fully in the moment, creating an atmosphere of warmth and focus that inspires others and enhances your leadership effectiveness. Presence sometimes speaks louder than words. You may not need to say anything, but your presence being there in the room of a meeting can actually speak louder. It shows people that you care because you're attending. It shows people that you listen as you're not speaking. It shows people that you're present, even though you're not speaking, right? Presence is the act of being proactive versus reactive. And by that, what I mean is that, you can be in the room, be present and listening. That's you're being proactive. Versus if, let's say, you were in a meeting and someone may say something that you disagree with, and instead of listening to what they have to say, you interfere with what they have to say. You're not being proactive in terms of listening. You're being reactive. You're responding to this disagreement. And one of the important things about leadership is that leaders, at least the great ones, they actually take the time to listen to what people have to say before responding. And then, presence has to do with building trust, building influence, and building effective leadership. Keep in mind that you don't need hours of meditation to build presence. It's as simple as, a conscious breath, grounding your feet, feeling your heart. These simple practices create space and also poise, so that you can build trust, so that you can influence, and so that you can, build effective leadership. Great leadership isn't about being the loudest in the room. It's about being present. That's key to leadership. And you might have seen, some of our political leaders, demonstrating leadership, or should I say ineffective leadership, where they overtalk their opponents or their peers, where they're being too loud, where they're seeking for too much attention, right? The most strongest leaders, they don't seek for attention. They don't need to be the loudest in the room. In fact, they're the complete opposite of that. And I'm saying this based on my 15 years of experience working with some of the best leaders in my space. And contributing, these are leaders that have come from organizations that have invested in $300 million in studying what effective leadership is. So with that said, I'm going to take you through an exercise. But before that, Ritui, is there anyone with any comment or questions? Or does anyone have any questions before I take you through this 2-minute breath exercise?
No, I don't see any questions so far.
Okay, perfect. Well then, folks, I'm going to take you to a 2-minute breathing exercise. This is what I call the 4-4-4 boxing breathing technique, which is 4 seconds of inhale, 4 seconds of hold, 4 seconds of exhale, 4 seconds of hold. And then we're going to repeat that for a couple rounds. The intention here is really to help you to pause, to breathe, and relax your muscles and center yourself. So having said that, I want you to get comfortable, sit tall and relaxed with your feet planted on the ground. And, rest your hand gently on your lap. And if it feels comfortable, close your eyes and soften your gaze. And we're going to settle in and take a slow breath in through your nose. And exhale gently through your mouth. And let your shoulders drop and your jaws unclench. And with this box breathing 4-4-4 technique, we'll do a simple breathing. I'll guide you through it, starting with inhale through your nose for 4 seconds. Hold for 4 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale for 4 seconds through your mouth. 3, 4. Hold again for 4 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Let's repeat that 2 more times. We're going to inhale through your nose. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale through your mouth. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then hold again. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Great job for those that have partaken in this exercise. We're going to do one more time. Let's repeat again. Inhale through your nose. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale through your mouth. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Great job, everyone. Now let your breath return to your normal rhythm and just notice how your body feels. Maybe it's a little lighter, calmer, perhaps more grounded. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes and bring your attention back to the present moment. How is that for those of you that participated? How do you feel? Put it in the chat or go off mute if you want.
Yeah, if you want to just share your feeling, do you want to speak? Just raise your hand, I can unmute you. Okay, Katie said great.
Awesome. And folks, keep in mind that in leadership is really about, in order to go fast, you must go slow. In order to go fast, you must go slow. Which means, as I was talking to Vitui earlier before the webinar, is you have to be intentional about where you want your business to be or your leadership. That means you have to step back and assess your foundations. Do you have the right people, the right operations, the right systems, technology in place, right? You have to pause. In the leadership space, there's a pause principle, which is you have to step back and just pause and reflect on your business, on whether you know, is it leading towards the right path to scalability, to growth? And if not, how can we pause and assess where there might be gaps and then fix those gaps so that we can go faster, right? And so, the intention with this breathing exercise is really to help you to pause and to breathe and step back and reflect. And you can implement this technique any time of the day, morning, afternoon, evening. It's really meant to calm your nervous system at times when you're at a situation where you're stressed and help you to reset. And if you'll be centered and more grounded, you're able to make decisions clearly without, sense of nervousness and scarcity inside. Ty says, thumbs up, and Denya, I believe that's how you pronounce it,
Yeah.
says thumbs up. So thanks,
Yeah.
guys. Appreciate. I hope that I'm glad that that technique helps. So on to the next slide here. Let's see. Why isn't it going? There you go. So framework overview. So this framework explores the interconnection of purpose, power, and presence, vital components for effective leadership and personal growth. Understanding these elements can transform your leadership abilities, as well as your path to great leadership. So when I think about these three P's, purpose, power, and presence, I often, because I'm a visual learner, and I know some of you are, I'd like you to think about a clear image in your head, what each of these pictures stand for. So when I think about purpose, I think about a compass, right? A compass is a metaphor for purpose. It symbolizes finding your true north with clarity. And it guides, directs, and navigates, helps you navigate through life's journey and helps you stay on course to achieve your life's goals and mission, especially during challenging times. And as you all know, we all have hard seasons, right? But it's the compass that keeps us grounded and in the right path to our North Star. A compass is also a great reminder that there's always a way forward, especially during times of uncertainty. And there will always be times of uncertainty, like right now, with all the political turmoil and economy that we're in, things will always be uncertain from time to time. And so, how do you navigate through uncertain times? Well, you have to have a clear purpose, and that in a clear purpose that can help guide you without feeling like you're lost. Power. I think about tree as power. The reason why a tree represents power is because of its resilience, as well as its personal growth. Trees are potent symbols of power due to their representation of life, strengths, and interconnectedness. They embodied resilience, stability, and connection between the earthly and spiritual realm. Their ability to withstand harsh weather conditions and storms, along with their longevity, makes them a symbol of growth and perseverance. So think of tree as power. Candle flame embodies illuminating its inner potential. So when I think about candle flame, it represents light and could be a focal point for meditation, for prayer, or for spiritual or ritual. The flame itself can be seen as a connection to a divine guidance or a higher power of hope and helps set intentions for the future. So when you think about presence, think about the candle flame. Now imagine this, where purpose gives you direction, power gives you fuel, and presence gives you stillness. Imagine when they all work together in congruence, that's when you lead from a place of rooted clarity. This is where transformation happens, not just for you, but also for everyone that comes across your path. So as you think about these three components of effective leadership, know how they not only define themselves, but also how they are connected to one another. I worked with a client. His name is Andrew. He's a business owner, and he had been struggling with his business, and he came to me to help him implement some of this work. And I'm happy to take his quote and share it with you all. He said, "I was overworked, underfulfilled, and not connected to my true self. Once I aligned with my inner purpose, reclaim my inner power, and practice presence daily, I noticed my leadership transformed, and so did my marriage, business, and finance." So as you can see here, this work that I do is not just about business. It's more of a holistic approach to life. Life meaning business and marriage and kids and finances and health and so forth, right? In the leadership space, we call effective leadership is leading from the inside out. If you don't have a healthy knowledge of who you are as a person, then how do you lead others? If your marriage at home is not strong, how do you lead in business? If you don't like yourself very much as a person, how do you like others as you're working with them, right? So again, leadership starts from within. It's internal and it displays your abilities externally. So I hope that that makes sense for you. Journaling prompt to 3P leadership map. So this is really about reflecting through journaling that can enhance your understanding of power, purpose, and presence, and ultimately leading to a more impactful leadership style. So as you begin to, think about your leadership map, think about, um, you know, how do you explore purpose, right? You know, you you might want to ask yourself, what are your core values and how do they show up? Are my core values aligned with who I am today in my business? Businesses have mission, vision, and values. Do my individual values align with my business? If not, why is that? You might have to take a pause and reflect why that might not be the case and change that. Another question you might want to ask yourself is, what gives your life meaning and direction? Are you waking up every day into the best version, into your purpose? Are your daily actions aligned with your North Star, right? Does it give you fulfillment? Fulfillment is different from happiness, right? Like happiness is an emotional state. It goes up and down, right? But fulfillment is the feeling of being whole, that the work that you do today will make you feel like you're a better person because of it. Not necessarily happy because of it, but better in terms of wholeness, that you feel there's a sense of peace and fulfillment. Right? And then another question is reflect on moments that made you feel fulfilled, right? For example, for me, when I first ventured out to entrepreneurship 4 years ago, I didn't really, I didn't really, it was know whether, I would be a successful entrepreneurship, but I believed in myself that I'll figure it out. And 4 years later, I'm still here, right? Whereas what 90% of the businesses fail their first year, I'm still here today, right? So you have to make sure that you're reflecting on moments where do the work that you do make you feel like you feel complete inside. And for me, I would say yes, because I'm adding value to people's lives. Like I'm running this webinar and give you guys a sense of my work, but also I'm contributing to the PACE community to help each of you grow and scale your leadership ability so you can influence and make an impact and drive your business forward. To me, that makes me feel fulfilled because I'm giving back. And so you have to find work that you love doing. When it comes to power reflection, you might want to reflect on moments where you felt that your strength and influence made an impact on people's lives. And also, what did you learn from that? What were ways your actions had made a positive impact in others? Because great leaders, they don't create more followers, they create more leaders just like them, right? They operate from a mindset of abundance where if they create more great leaders just like them, then society, community is better off with it, right? And whereas the scarcity mindset of a leader is, well, if I create great leaders, then that means that I won't be great. Well, that's a scarcity mindset. In the realm of infinite possibilities, there's more than enough to go around, right? In an example of another scarcity mindset. Well, if I don't sell X, Y, and Z to this customer, then my competitor's just going to steal them from me. Whereas an abundant mindset is, well, I believe that there's more than enough customers for everyone. Just because, a customer can go to my competitor, does that mean that, they're taking revenue away from me? When you operate from a abundant mindset, you begin to unleash your ability to create things, right? Versus compete. Just think about the feeling of competition. Like there's seems to be a negative emotion attached to it. You feel it's a sense of rush, a sense of chasing, and that could turn off your customers. They don't want to be around energy that's desperate, that's around chasing, right? Like people hate to be market to or sold, but they love to buy, right? And so if you find the right customer and they love to buy, they will be your customer. There's more than enough for everyone. So just think about that as an example. Is your leadership, impacting others in a meaningful way? It doesn't have to be your peers. It could also be customers as well. And then presence, mindfulness. In what ways do you show up with presence? Describe times when you truly felt engaged and connected. And how can you cultivate that state? These two questions are very powerful questions because it helps you to, again, pause and reflect and find where your power is, right? Some of us, we give our power away without realizing it. But when you understand where your power is and you can maintain it, then you begin to cultivate a sense of presence. Does that make sense? Now, I want you to map yourself for yourself. In the first column, you might want to write down your purpose in a sentence. The first column is really about purpose exploration. So write down your purpose statement. If you don't know, we can hop on a one-on-one call after this and I can help you write down the purpose statements. And then the second column, I want you to identify where you need to reclaim your power. Right? And the questions here will help you identify how you can reclaim your power. And then finally, on the third column, presence, write one practice that you could deepen, right? And these are the three key leadership myths. This is a journey to mapping your leadership and knowing that your leadership journey will continue to evolve and change over time. These questions are meant to get you started on a path to effective leadership, if that makes sense. Any questions, comments so far?
I don't see any questions so far. So anyone, if you have any question, you can raise your hand and I can unmute you to ask your question.
Not, then we're going to move on.
Yeah, only Katie just commented, great content. Thank you.
Thank you, Katie. So practical exercises that you can take away with you after this session. So engaging in practical exercises can enhance your leadership skills, empower you as a leader to deepen your understanding of the three Ps so that you can lead your personal and professional lives that's authentic and impactful. So as we have already discussed, one of the practical exercises is reflective journaling. Using journaling prompts to explore thoughts encourages deeper reflection of yourself and also clarity in leadership journeys. You could also participate in group discussions. You might want to invite your peers, maybe do like a mastermind or some sort of group study to think about how leadership shows up in each individual's lives. When you collaborate with your peers and foster shared insights, it helps you and others as leaders learn from each other and diversify your experiences. And then, another practical exercise is goal setting, which I'm sure all of you have already been doing it because you all are smart, capable individuals and business owners, is establishing actionable goals that allows you as a leader to track progress and maintain focus in your vision and values. Another goal setting framework is a SMART goal, KPIs, or fast goals, right? Those are just some of the frameworks that you can use to establish goals and achieve that by using your leadership. Again, the big picture here is really, the three pillars of purpose, power, and presence are the cornerstone of an aligned life, right? Now, we're not just talking about leadership, we're talking about holistically. So professional and personal life. And when all of those pillars are synced, aligned, and in coherence, you become magnetic as a leader. You're more grounded and more impactful. But when one of these three pillars is missing, then you feel scattered, disempowered, and unclear. So, which is why I stated previously, it's important to understand each of the three Ps, but also how they're connected to each other. So my work is centered around transformative leadership, right? I aim for transformation. It's not just a check off the box kind of thing, we're done, right? I don't just give a webinar and that's it. Like, I want you all to continue to practice these best practices or these strategies. So I hope you're taking notes and going back after this recording and listening to this presentation so that you can really implement some of these strategies into your daily habits. So transformative leadership is all about inspiring change and fostering growth within your team and business, demonstrating the power of purpose, presence, and connection. The key principle here is really about authenticity. Authenticity is in leadership creates trust and inspires teams to engage actively and invest in their shared vision. When you think about leadership, you think about people who've made an impact in their lives. Who are they really, right? They're people that show up as who they are. How they interact with you in one setting and how they interact with other people in other settings is the same person. They don't change. They don't pretend to be someone they're not. They may, tailor their message to the right audience, but their demeanor, the way that they behave, communicate is consistent. Their actions and words are aligned. That's what authentic leadership is. So keep that in mind. At the core of transformative leadership is really about authenticity. Are you the person you say you are? Are you the person that you say you're going to do what you tell people, right? Impactful action. So leaders who take decisive action demonstrate commitment, and thus motivating others to follow suit and drive results. When you think about influence and impact, leaders that take decisive actions, they don't wait for the right information, or they don't wait until they have all the information to make a decision. They make a decisive decision by taking action immediately, and then they change their decisions along the way, right? You must be comfortable as a leader to act without all the right information, or all the information, matter of fact, and to keep moving forward with quick action until you achieve a certain mission goal, right? When you demonstrate effective decision-making abilities, you're telling others that you're a leader with confidence and you believe in what you do, right? That inspires others to want to follow you because you're confident, right? So keep that in mind. And then, of course, another component to transformative leadership is lasting change. Fostering a culture of transparency, collaboration, and open communication leads to sustainable growth and improved organizational effectiveness. So, of course, you can have, authenticity as part of the leadership. Impactful actions, or you're making, decisions as an authentic leader, but what's the outcome? What's the result of that, right? So do you see how each one of these things are important, but also leads to another, right? Authentic leadership leads to making quick decisions, which leads to lasting change, right? So once you understand the core of transformative leadership, which is about authenticity, and then how that drives into making effective, quick decision making, then you can say, okay, well, here's the results. Here's what I got based on, my leadership ability. The key to lasting change is to create an environment where people feel safe to share their ideas without being penalized. There's a term in the organizational effectiveness world. It's called psychological safety. Some of you might have heard of this. Psychological safety is the concept where you create a safe space for people to come to you for help or for guidance. And they may share their vulnerabilities with you. And you support them, help them, coach them, guide them, right? Versus penalize them for sharing their vulnerabilities. And there are just, unfortunately, too many leaders out there that when their employees come to them, they penalize them, And so, but the great leaders, they coach and instill inspiration and empower their people to perform at the best. They're coaching. So keep that in. Any questions so far? I know that was a lot of information.
I don't see any questions so far. Again, if anyone wants to ask a question, feel free to raise your hand and, you can ask your question.
Okay. So I'm a visual learner, as I mentioned previously, and I like to put all of this in kind of like a Venn diagram, right? So this is the intersections of purpose, power, and presence. the three elements to enhance your leadership. On the left side, you have purpose, which is about driving the vision, the direction. Right? It's instilling inspiration in your people, your team, that this is our why. This is why we do the work in the team. And me as a leader, I want you all to have this in mind as you're working to drive projects to the finish line, to achieve your goals on a daily basis with your team. Why do we do what we do to achieve the purpose? On the right side, you have presence, which is about cultivating connections with others. You can't build relationships with others if you're not present in the moment. So you have to make sure that you're taking the time to listen to people, to understand their interests, their desires, and their motivations, and see whether there might be some similarities, and build connection and cultivate healthy relationships that way. And when you combine the two, at the center of it is authenticity, right? You are an authentic leader. You inspire others with confidence. You empower them to do their best work. And when they do, you become an effective leader. So many people today are chasing success. They're juggling too much, or they're feeling stuck. They're outwardly achieving, but inwardly they're drifting away, right? And this Venn diagram of purpose, power, and presence is really to bring you back into your center. Who are you as a leader? What kind of leader do you want to be for your employees, for your clients, for your communities, society, family, friends? These aren't just buzzwords that I'm throwing at you. You might have heard them a lot, but they're really powerful concepts, and they're at the foundation of sustainable and soul-aligned leadership. And you might have heard of soul-aligned leadership the first time. Not many people are speaking about what that means. What is soul-aligned? Well, it's really about who you are as a person. Every one of us have a soul, right? That intuition that gives you a nudge, that's your soul, right? That's your spirit telling you something, right? And so tune into that, and I guarantee you that you will increase your leadership effectiveness. In fact, I was listening to a podcast the other day, and Steve Jobs mentioned about following his intuition, right? He followed his intuition to create the best, most innovative products that he could. Just think about that. One of the most innovative leaders of our time created amazing products like the iPhone because he listened to his intuition. So hopefully you'll cultivate more of that intuition that's so aligned with leadership, so that you can be the kind of leader that you want for others. So, decisive leaders who empower their employees, giving those closest to the work, to the work that they do to inspire autonomy, are 85% more likely to improve the quality of organizational decisions as compared to their peers. This is a statistics that I found through the McKinsey's Organizational Health Index. McKinsey is one of the top consulting firms in the world. And when you think about being a great leader and what that looks like, when you're assigned of a role of a leader, it is your responsibility to make sure that you're taking care of yourself as well as others, because it can impact someone's career trajectory for the rest of their lives. So it's an immense responsibility. It's not just a title, right? I can't remember who said this, but there's this quote that says, if you believe that serving is beneath you, then leadership is beyond you, right? If serving others is beneath you, then leadership is beyond you. So as a great leader, you have to have the ability to care for your people, to take care of them, to make sure that they're treated well with respect, dignity, ensuring that, not only are they performing, but, how are they as a person? Daily check-ins, just to check in, hey, Sarah, how's it going? How's your day going? See them as a human being versus as an employee can drastically change the way how you communicate with them and your relationship with them. So keep that in mind. The one thing I encourage my clients who have employees is you either think of your employees as the greatest liability or the greatest asset. There's no, in between. But when you think that your employees are a liability, then you will come up with ways how your employees will jeopardize your business. But if you switch it around and have the perspective of your employees as your greatest asset, you will think of ways to support them, take care of them, empower, inspire them to be their best version, regardless if they choose to work for you or not. Just think about, as you coach, you spend your blood, sweat, and tears coaching an employee, and let's say they decide to leave you. Well, I would say that's a great thing because you're coaching them to become a better person, a better leader. Should they choose to work for another company, support them in their journey. They'll come around one day because you have always been there for them, or they'll refer clients to you because you were once the leader that they wish they had, right? And so don't worry too much about, well, I spent too much time coaching people and now they leave and now I don't want to do that anymore. Yeah, that's a scarcity mindset. And we want to transform just transition your mindset to an abundant mindset. And plus, if you coach and train your employees and they decide that they're going to leave you and work for somebody else, they may come back and write a positive review in Glassdoor, right? Say, I had worked with Colin. He was such a great leader, one of the best leaders I've ever worked with. I recommend this company, to anyone. So just keep that in mind. So I know we're about that time, and I just want to, this is one of the last slides here. The key takeaways for you as a leader is really about, embracing your inner strength and growth. Leadership is a journey. Everyone doesn't start the same, but continue learning and right. The best leaders, I think, are those that are continuous learners. So always look for ways to grow and to discover your that instills purpose, right? Paint what that vision is. And harness the power of authentic leadership. Cultivate presence through mindfulness practices and take bold steps towards impactful change. These are the things that I really want you to take away. And the last thing I would say here is that I just recently launched a leadership circle. This is a monthly leadership membership for professionals just like you, or entrepreneurs and business owners, or people that maybe haven't really thought about leadership but want to evolve their leadership skills. We meet every week, 60 minutes, and I sit there, I listen to your stories, your challenges, and I coach you through how to overcome some of these challenges in your business. And it could be life as well too. The leadership circle is really designed to help you be more grounded, confident, and clear in who you are, align with your purpose, lead with clarity and executive presence, and break free from the stress and anxiety and mental clutter so you can perform at your highest level, and help you, of course, to unlock your full potential so you could be the leader that you've always wanted. The cost to enroll in this program is $497 versus $4,997, which is a huge discount. You may say, hey, Kong, why are you giving us such a huge discount? Well, I believe in you. I believe in you and your ability to succeed, which is why I'm offering you at a lower rate, and because of my relationship with Virtui and Pace. So, spots are limited. I'm opening this is just 10 people. So I hope that you'll check out the website here. It's resource.peopleonward.com/LC-offer. Copy and paste it or write it down. You could go through the program, check out in more detail and enroll there. This sign up page, you just purchase it through the website. And I hope that you'll join me in this next stage of leadership where I get to coach you for just $400.97 versus $4,997. So huge discount there. That said, I will leave it for questions and answers.
Okay, thank you, Kang. There is one comment, one question. So Katie mentioned that the best manager I ever had asked each of us on the team what we would like to be given on 3 different reward levels. We were so excited to work for those rewards. She was a great leader, and we would have charged up any hill. And then there is a question from Claire. She asks, reward levels are an interesting concept. Can you share an example of what those look like?
Okay, so let's start with the first question here. Well, actually, it's just the only question. So, again, Catherine says, I work for an employment agency when I convince an employee to give us a job order, I won the first level reward. When I set the appointment, oh, sorry, this is more of a comment. Rewards level. So,
Yeah.
So I would say, Claire, you know, so when I coach my clients on how to attract, retain, develop talent, I often emphasize on the development and retaining part of it, right? Because when you think about hiring people, it's not just about hiring people, it's also about your ability to attract, to retain their talent and develop them so they continue to stay with you, right? And so you want to make sure that you're coming up with rewards and recognition programs to help them, you know, be the best leader that they can be, right? People want to be heard and seen. And when their contribution to the business matters and you reward their contribution, it helps them to stay focused and want to engage in their work and choose to stay. Does that make sense? And if I'm misunderstanding your question, feel free to be unmute and provide some clarity.
If you want to unmute, please raise your hand and I can unmute you.
This is from Claire Harris, by the way. Let's see here. Catherine, thank you for your participation. She commented, ask your employees what they want. They may want to take a class webinar or get pet insurance from you, set up goals for you to reward the person. There are different ways that you can reward your employees. And Catherine, thank you for bringing that up. You might want to check if you are an employee, you might want to check whether your employer has EPA, Employee Assistance Program. And it's part of the medical benefits package that your employer offers. Or let's say if you're a business owner and you're thinking about retaining your top performers, you might want to offer them an EAP, Employee Assistance Program, where your employees can, call the benefits line and say, what are the benefits that you have for me? My employer decided to offer me an EAP. I want to know what are my benefits. Some of the things that I've utilized in the past and have seen business owners offer to employees are, training on how to invest in stocks and bonds, right? Or how do you deal with mental illness in the workplace? That's a huge issue in the workplace for a lot of these employees, right? So they're in the line of rewards and recognition, but also offering benefits, right? You're telling your employees that you care about them, so you're offering this resource for them to access.
Okay,
Anything else,
let
folks?
me see. We don't, okay. Thank you, Katie, for for your contribution, for your comments. I don't see any other question. So if you have any question, please feel free to, unmute yourself and ask the question. We will stay for another maybe like 2 or 3 minutes to address the questions. So if you don't have any questions, I just want to say thank you and wish you a great rest of the day. So myself and Kang will stay for another 2, 3 minutes to see if there's any other question and we will address it. Thank you, everyone.
And thanks, everyone. I just chatted in the chat box my contact information, so there you know where to find me. Happy to connect with you.